Lovely collaborating with you, Paula. Thank you.
It's a precursor to the Circle Stories in the Stones and the Circle of Stones of Catherine's presentation on Wednesday. We wanted to share it today as well.
That's right. Thank you.
And I think as we go through the service, the message and all that, you're going to see how synchronicity really has come in and this was going to come back. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. We greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of Spiritual Life Center, our community. Spiritual Life Center is Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, churches, mosques, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no spot that God is not. If this is your first time joining us, either online or in person, we especially welcome you because we know no one is here by accident. We are all here by divine appointment. And we really appreciate it when you silence all electronic devices. And please, no flash photography during the service.
You know, the Daily Word is written a long time ago, as it were, but I'm just amazed how I hadn't read it first, but the message, the Daily Word, the altar, and the announcement you're going to hear about Catherine, I mean, how it all weaves together. And today's Daily Word is lively. And the affirmation is, I am lively, filled with awe and wonder. There is a glorious, unseen flow at the heart of all creation, moving in and through me. As I align with this sacred energy, I feel vibrantly alive. I imagine myself part of the great living whole. I am one with the trees, whose boughs sway in the wind, with the mountains and the hills echoing the ancient voices, with the waters trickling over stone. Even the quiet earth hums a sacred song. Today, I will listen more closely, breathe more deeply, and move with intention. Life is not separate from me. I am its expression. In harmony with its rhythm, the world begins to sing. I recognize its lively song is singing to me too. And from Isaiah, and I remember this song so well, and as you go out, the trees of the field will clap their hands. The trees of the field will clap their hands. The trees of the field will clap their hands as we go out in joy. Today's Daily Word is lively. Dear Spirit, thank you for making us a part of all creation, that we are truly one with the one. Thank you for our many, many blessings. And where there are challenges, help us to see those challenges as opportunities for more spiritual growth. Thank you for SLC, this incredible spiritual community, a metaphysical city on a hill with a powerful message, not just for Sacramento, but for the world beyond. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. And you know, we also say our mission statement because it really does remind us of who we've come here to be. So let's say it together. To transform lives, to make a positive difference in the world as we love, serve, and remember. And we also say those 5 wonderful unity principles. And this week, somebody who I deeply respect in this community said, you know, I have one suggestion. When you say the unity principles, say them slower. So let's say them slower together. God is absolute good, everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And we are, of course, in the middle of the season of nonviolence, which really celebrates the work of Mahatma Gandhi and also Martin Luther King. You know what? The shares which people have been making part of this season of nonviolence, they're up online. So if you missed any, because they're really good, if you've missed any of them, come on, look at them. Or if you want to hear them again, you can do that too. And we're so honored that Kathy Gibson is going to share with us right now. Thank you, Kathy.
Deja vu.
By the way, Kathy was supposed to do one service. She said, I'm not a morning person, but she was here also helping us with the early service too. Yay!
I picked this one because it's about an open heart, and it's very dear to me, so this is it. Today, I remember that healing for all violence on the planet is authentic communication. I remember that in every situation and circumstance, I am the ears of God. I release attachment to my opinions and practice listening without judgment. In all my interactions, I open my heart to hear the true message I'm being given. Rather than just hearing words, today I remember the voice of God lives in the heart of every person, and I honor all communication as sacred. I listen for that voice in my exchanges with others. Today, I listen with an open heart, grateful for the miracle of language. When I contemplate listening with an open heart, I find I can't communicate with an open heart when there are judgments and assumptions about others in the way of connecting fully from my heart. I can't expect a true and real response from another when I'm not being present and real myself. I have found that if I don't take the time to say a true hello or create an honest moment in time, I only swim on the surface of life, filling spaces with air, not depth. There is emptiness. My favorite time of day is the morning. The sun shines on my face. As I sit on my back stairs, I hear the birds, I feel the earth breathing through me, the open silence within after meditation. That's the easy part for me. It's when people are introduced to the equation that there's a challenge. There are some people easy to connect with and others that might be grumpy, tired, sad, or angry, not wanting to connect. There was a time when I was desperate to fix these people so I could feel better inside. I have learned to just be present for them in a loving way. This has been an exercise of a loving heart, not a needy heart. What about the world we live in today, the chaos that divides us, the heartbreaking dissensions that have torn us apart? Perhaps this is a challenge for all of us. It is necessary to gather strength inside, to stand with love in our hearts, and face the storm as grounded beacons of light, shining the honesty, how we are alike, not seemingly with our unmendable differences. We can choose to sink into despair and grief, or stand as trees in the wind with deep, compassionate roots. It's time to listen beyond the angry words to the deepest part of us all, love. It's recognizing the light within all of us on this planet. It's not selective, it's a universal knowing that we all belong to this divine family. Yes, we are different colors, temperaments, sizes, shapes, but with one heart. We all began with one cell dividing into many parts of a whole. When I truly look at you, I see me looking back. We are one. When I'm present with myself, I can be present with you. I can hear your song if my head is quiet. I can let my song touch your hearts if I'm truly here with you. With this presence and open heart, we can produce a river of love that can move through mountains into the center of all of us. As John Lennon said, you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Yeah. I know this as a possibility. It lives deep inside of me. Help me hear with an open heart the song of all of us together and send it out into this incredible world we have the honor to live on.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. So, Patty, what's new?
Well, this Wednesday, our ongoing prayer circle at 5:30 in the chapel. The prayer chaplains do a beautiful job of prayer, and it's wonderful, just holding space with, other people, whether you're saying a prayer out loud or to yourself. So please join the prayer chaplains this Wednesday at 5:30 in the chapel. And then at 6 o'clock, we have our community meal. It's soup, a volunteer makes soup, and it's a wonderful time for community and always great soup, I must say. And we'd really appreciate it if you could RSVP online by Monday, sometime Monday, so that the volunteer can know how much to make, because it's challenging. We don't want too much or too little. So if you would honor that, that's fantastic.
The soup dinners are incredible, and the fellowship is wonderful. Come on down.
And then at 7 o'clock, Catherine Mandela will be here. Her talk is Stories in the Stones. She recently set on a journey to England and Scotland to visit many of the stone circle sites and to learn about the ancient history and mythology surrounding their existence. She took her plant wave, which is a device that attaches 2 electrodes to a device to the surface of an object, emitting a vibration that translates it into musical notes. Now, how cool is that? So she's got several videos to show us. So come on Wednesday at 7 and hear the fascinating stories from Catherine and hear the stones speak for themselves.
Catherine, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be really wonderful.
And then on next Sunday, Lavender Lights, the LGBT community is going to be meeting from 12:30 to 1:30. They'll be in the kitchen. There'll be a pizza and salad lunch. And so you can form this small group, and you can come together in fellowship and friendship. And we're also welcoming allies. So that is next Sunday, March 22nd, in the kitchen from 12:30 to 1:30 after service.
I intend to be there as an ally. I can see a scenario where it's going to be really important for us to stand together with our LGBTQ plus friends. So I think the Lavender Lights meeting next week is important. Come on down. We're really soft sell in terms of, we're not Mormon missionaries on bicycles, in terms of membership and all that. But without the bicycles, we're going to have a new member info session at the, I think it's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. We'll be right in the annex over there. So if anything is stirring inside of you to become a member, and I think it is important, please join us at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about it. And again, soft sell, we're really interested in seeing you. Reverend Ken Daigle. Reverend Ken Daigle from Unity of San Francisco has just written an incredible book called Unapologetic Manifestation. He's going to be here as a guest speaker on the 12th of the Sunday after Easter. An incredible book which I think has so much for you individually on your spiritual walk, but also for SLC as a community. Then we're going to be doing a workshop in the afternoon on the 12th, and then we're going to be starting out with doing Wednesday classes on his book, Unapologetic Manifestation. We have a video, Ken. Could we pull it up?
Hello. It's good to be with you by video again, and look forward to being with you in person soon. On April 12th, I'll be up to do talks and do a workshop about Unapologetic Manifestation, the new book I've written about how to create the life you want. You see, I know something about you. I know that there exists within you a desire for something greater, for something more fulfilling, for something better for the planet. And I know also that within you, you have the power, the strength, the wisdom, and the fortitude to do just that. I know that because it's the journey I've been on, and the reason I felt I needed to write this book and create this course. So I'm inviting you to come to services on April 12th, to stay for the free workshop I'm going to conduct after services, and then to sign up for the 10-week class that Reverend Rick and I are going to do together, with you, for you, and create lives of true meaning and purpose, lives that the world needs, because the world needs you to fully show up. Join us on April 12th and April 15th, and I look forward to being with you. Namaste.
Thank you, Ken. And remember, there are so many ways to foster transformation. Our and prayer's always been at the heart and center of the Unity movement. We have our prayer chaplains who will be out in the courtyard for individual prayer. We've been told the announcements run too long, but I got to tell you something. We don't even announce and talk about the many small groups that we have. I mean, and to learn about them, go online. There is so much going on here almost every day, either online or in person, which can really help your spiritual walk. Go to the hub, go to the website. It, as I say, really can help you kickstart your spiritual life. We come here for so many reasons. One of them is for connection. So let's share some of that connection with each other right now.
And we invite you to take all that good energy and join us in singing Be Thou My Vision, a beautiful Irish melody, folk melody. Please join us in singing. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me save that thou art. Come my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence seated.
Now, as we prepare for our meditation, let's begin by speaking out loud our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planets.
Please join us in singing Deep Peace. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Deep peace to you. Deep
As we enter into this time of meditation, I invite you to get comfortable. Place your feet on the floor. Feel the chair supporting you. Soften your eyes. Close them if you feel comfortable doing so. Feel the air on your skin. Open your crown chakra. Let the loving light flow in and through your body. Let that loving light flow through your throat, through your heart, your beautiful heart, through your solar plexus, through your belly, down your legs, through your feet, rooting deep into Mother Earth. Feel that loving energy flowing through you. Let us take a few deep breaths together. In and out. With every breath in, breathe loving spirit. With every breath out, breathe wisdom. With every breath in, bring courage to speak our truth. With every breath out, breathe peace. With every breath in and out, we are open channels of loving light. Focusing on your breath, in and out, let my words be your words. As I turn within, I retreat from outer awareness and enter my soul, the divine in me. It is here that I know my connection to Spirit. I enter into the stillness to align myself with the one mind that permeates all of creation. I feel myself as part of this creation, connected to all of nature. I am light and darkness. I am the oceans and the land. I am the rocks and the trees. I am the fishes, birds, and animals. I am one with every human being on the planet. Like waves in the ocean, we are all made of the same energy. In this oneness, I sense the order of all things. I feel the divine love that moves in, through, and around me, and in every molecule of the cosmos. I know the divine intelligence that is the foundation of all that is or ever will be. I am one with all. Deep within, I find the knowledge of all things and the awareness of absolute good. Deep within, I touch the gifts that are the divine. It is here that I receive wisdom and guidance, that I know truth and understanding, that I am strengthened and comforted. This is the divine essence that I am. The core of me is divine. Feel the divine within in the silence. We came to earth as spiritual beings to have a human experience. All experiences are valuable. We can feel the divine in the thin spots of this world. We are part of divine flow. We are made of divine wisdom. We are made of divine love. We are made of divine compassion. We are made of divine energy. We are expressions of the divine. From the divine within us, we can be and do anything. And so it is.
This is a thin place. This is where you meet with us. It's a sacred space. This is where you meet with us. This is a thin place. This is where you meet with us. It's a sacred space. This is where you meet with us. This is a thin place. This is where you meet with us. It's a sacred space. This is where you meet with us. Holy ground, stay. Deep in doubt or filled with faith, you walk with us along the way. You are never far away, mountain high or darkest day. Deep in doubt or filled with faith, you walk with us along the way. This is a thin place. This is where you meet with us. This is where you meet with us. Right here. This is where you meet with us. Right here. This is where you meet with us. This is where you meet with us. Right here, right here. This is where you meet with us. This is where you meet with us. This is where you meet with us.
Wow. Well, first, thank you, Kathy, for doing double duty. And you're not a morning person, but you did double duty. Thank you so much. Janet, thank you for a wonderful meditation. And our music ministry, what can you say? Beyond fantastic. And so we come to St. Patrick's Day and the wearing of the green. I'm amazed at the synchronicity that has happened. As you'll see, the daily word just flows right into what I'll be talking about. I came up and saw the altar. As you'll again see, really flow. I was amazed at that. Catherine and what she's going to be sharing with us on Wednesday. You know, with Catherine Mandela, it's easier to tell you what instrument she doesn't play as opposed to what instrument she does play. St. Patrick's Day has always been a widely celebrated festival at SLC. An unimpeachable source this week sent me a picture, if we could pull it up. There's Reverend Michael Moran, co-founding minister of us and the board at the time. I'm told there was a bottle there. Was not Diet Coke, but we're glad for that. You know, on a personal level, I am not of Irish descent, so I cannot, in good faith, change my name to Belous or Mick Belous. But my late wife, Debbie, had a lot of Irish in her. Boy, oh boy, did sometimes she have a lot of Irish in her. And so my children, including Robin and little Therese, have a great deal of Irish blood in them. Peg also, too. Her real name is Margaret, so, a lot of Irish blood there. You know, while I'm not of Irish descent, however, I have been very interested in Celtic spirituality and in Irish music, such as that great Irish band, the Chieftains and Anya. Also interested in a student of James Joyce and Yeats, and also U2. And lately, in doing my taxes, a song of U2, I keep on singing. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So Therese, my 11-year-old, you know, this was last week, and thank you to Brenda for the refurbishment of the oneness symbol. It did a great job. And so little Therese says to me, many pass one God. I don't want one God. I want many gods. I said, well, Teresa, if you're interested in that, Celtic spirituality was and is strongly polytheistic, centered on many gods, goddesses, and local sacred powers rather than on one single deity. Matter of fact, experts in Celtic mythology point to over 400 plus deities. And if you went back to a clan back in the ancient pre-Christian days, they would essentially say, yes, we honor and recognize all 400 plus, but usually they centered around, they focused on, one or two or three gods in particular. And so I said to Teresa, if you're really interested, there's many, many wonderful youth fictions based on Celtic mythology. I know Nordic mythology is probably even the most, with Ragnarok, the destruction of everything. I sometimes think we could make a ton of money if SLC formed a bookstore called Dystopian Novels or Us. But the gods, I find the Celtic gods, really interesting. For example, there's Dagda. He's the good god. He's the father figure. He's the father figure with a drinking problem. There's Bridget, the goddess of fire, healing, and poetry. Lug. Lug is the god of skills, crafts, and war. And of course, my favorite is Margan. Margan is the great phantom goddess queen. She's the goddess of fate and sovereignty. She is the puka of all pukas. What's a puka? A puka is sort of like a shapeshifter. I mean, Margan sometimes will appear as a beautiful woman, sometimes as an old hag. A lot of times on battlefields, she'll appear as a crow. And then there is Danu. Danu, the mother goddess of fertility, wisdom, and the land. One of the things which I find very interesting in Celtic mythology is how many goddesses there are. And the other thing is, in these pantheons, that usually, what a pagan pantheon usually has an executive committee. It's not called that, but it's an executive committee. And what was the theory of many anthropologists, mythologists such as Joseph Campbell, is that when we were in the hunter-gatherer period, female goddesses were very popular, and they were in the executive committee. In most of the pantheons, as we move from hunter-gatherers to agriculture, and then once you have agriculture, you have a surplus, you have to protect it, you need armies, you need war gods and all that. What happened is that the female goddesses got shoved out of the pantheon. Now, there are a few exceptions. I mean, in Greek mythology, Athena, since she sprouted out of Zeus's head, she still remained in the pantheon. But in the executive committee in Celtic mythology, there are a lot of female goddesses. And the theory which Joseph Campbell and others have is that there probably was a period where human population, some even estimate we went down to maybe 20,000 of us or 10,000 Homo sapiens. We could have easily gone the way of the dodo. And so fertility was extremely important. You'll find during this period, a lot of them are little statues which could be put in satchels and things like that. Of the goddess, and it's all over the world. The goddess will have very enlarged breasts. This is the family hour, so I'll just say this region of the world was enlarged. And it's interesting. This is the economist in me. There's an interesting debate now looking about population and fertility rates, and one side arguing that fertility rates going down is not going to be a long run, a good thing for many reasons. Interesting, you even find some of this in the Old Testament. For example, Judah had a son named Onan, and if you read, it's as it says in the Bible, Onan was punished because he spread his seed where his seed should not go. And when you're facing a low population rate, we don't want to go the way of the dodo. The interesting thing, Onan, the interesting thing is Dorothy Parker, the writer in the 1930s, she had a parrot, and she named the parrot Onan because he spread his seed in places where it should not, go. So many gods in Celtic mythology also were personifications of rivers, wells, hills, and groves. And as you go into Ireland, Britain, and the Gaelic regions, many place names in Ireland, Britain, and Gaul preserve these goddesses or divine creatures. Now, one of the things in Celtic mythology which I am so fascinated by, and I think can be so important for our spiritual walk today, is the concept of thin places. Thin places. Now, by thin places, I don't mean Weight Watcher, pay and wave salons, or Richard Simmons sweating the way with the oldies. In Celtic spirituality, thin places are locations or moments where the boundary between the visible material world and the spiritual realm feels unusually porous, so that the presence of the god or goddesses or the divine or that otherworldly seems vividly near. In some theologies, mythologies, et cetera, the spiritual world is way over here and the material world is way over here. In Celtic spirituality, that was never the case. There was they were like interwoven. It was right next to you. So why don't you see it? A lot of times you don't see it in Celtic mythology because what has grown up is very large walls separating you from seeing that. But there are times where there appears to be the thick veils just sort of dissolve, and the place they dissolve, and you start to realize that connection. It's not called thin places in the Bible, but there are examples of this. One of my favorites is the story of Jacob. If you remember, Jacob steals the birthright of his older brother, Esau, and his mother comes to him and says, you got, or Eric Burden and the Animals, you got to get out of this place, Esau is going to kill you if you don't get out of here. Go north, way north, go to our relative Laban up north. I'll send word for you when you should come south back down to us. So Jacob leaves, and he's up in what's now northern Israel, and he goes to sleep, he puts his head on a stone, and he sees a ladder with angels going up and going down. Up and going down. And he says, and it's interesting, this has been woven into a song which I remember very well, many Unity churches sing, surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can see his mighty power and his grace. There's a holy hush of silence. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. It's interesting, you see it in other spiritual traditions, for example, in Buddhism. You have Buddha who, leaves the palace. He's trying to find enlightenment. So the first way he tries to find enlightenment is the mortification of the flesh. So he takes a vow to only eat McDonald's foods for 5 years, and it doesn't produce enlightenment. But then he sits down in front of the Bodhi tree, a thin place, and all of a sudden comes to him the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Noble Path, that thin place. And it's interesting to see representations of this thin place in the modern era. For example, C.S. Lewis, Belfast, Northern Ireland, but still Ireland, writes the Narnia cycle, The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe. And the children go through the wardrobe, and they come out in another land. They come out in Narnia, in the kingdom and the land of that great lion Aslan. So, a lot of times these thin places show up in landscapes. I mean, for example, if the United States were, Celtic, a Celtic civilization from the get-go. I mean, Yellowstone Park, all the national park, there would have been one of these Celtic deities or divine forces. Particularly, I think at Niagara Falls. The story I love is that Oscar Wilde, the British poet and writer, was shown Niagara Falls, and the American host said to him, "Isn't this absolutely marvelous and extraordinary?" And Oscar Wilde looked at Niagara Falls and said, "Yes, but it would be more extraordinary if the water flowed up." You see it a lot of times in holy wells, in crossroads, borders, thresholds. You also see it in time, through sunrise, sunset. Boy, oh boy, I remember back, Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, at particularly sunset. And those mountains really were blue, Blue Ridge turned into Blue Ridges. You see it in milestones of our lives. So let me tell two stories about Irish thin places. You can get, I think, a sense of these important places. The first story is going to be pre-Christian, and then the second one is a story from the Christian period. So let's go to the pre-Christian. And it's about and this time he was a young warrior. His name was Aidan McFergal. He's in a clan. This is the dark, recesses of time and all that. And Aidan is known as 1 foot up, 1 foot up. And the elders call him that because before they can talk to him, he has 1 foot raised and he's ready out the door, doing whatever. He's not listening or whatever. 1 foot up, Aidan. And it turns out that there is a clan in the East, an Eastern clan. And this Eastern clan is run by a queen chief, a chieftainess. Some think she might even be Margan herself, but this clan is going to be attacking. Aidan's clan gets word, this clan is going to be attacking. This clan on the East is going to be attacking them. Whoa. And so we got to get our army set up, so our warriors set up so we can stop them and all that. What about Aidan? What do you mean, what about Aidan? He's such a hothead. He's bound to do something stupid. Let's, that thin place on top of the hill over here, let's put him over there. We put him, you're looking at the thin place, who's out of the way, he'll do no damage or whatever. Aidan, up to the thin place. I want to, up to the thin place. And up to the thin place goes Aidan. And I have not experienced this in Ireland, but I certainly experienced it in Yorkshire and in Scotland, that thick, foggy dew. I mean, what I compare it to, anybody from upstate New York or near the Great Lakes, Finger Lake, lake effect snow. Lake effect snow is so thick that you can't even see beyond the hood of your car. So it's this thick fog, it's at night, and out of this fog comes to Aidan this beautiful woman. Is it a woman, an angel? Is it a puka? Is it Margan herself? And the woman addresses Aidan and says, "What are you here for?" "Well, they sent me up to look at the thin place." She said, "Well, are you doing it?" And he said, "Well, I hadn't been doing so well now." She said, "Well, take a listen. Take a listen. Listen to those hills. Listen to those hills," as we'll hear from Catherine on Wednesday, talking about listening to those hills and those stone circles. And as the daily word, what a synchronicity. The mountains and hills echoing with ancient voices. Even the quiet earth hums with sacred song. Today I will listen more closely, breathe more deeply, and move with intention. In harmony with its rhythm, the world begins to sing. And so Aidan is listening. He's listening. And the puka or morga, whoever it is, says, "Can you hear the hills singing?" "Yes, I can. Yes, I can." "What do you hear?" Well, the interesting thing is all the song is coming from the north. There's no song from the east, no song from the south, no song from the west. It's all coming from the north. And you know what? It's not even sounding so much like a song. It's more sounding like warriors or an army moving through it. Ah, says the puka, what could that mean to you? They're not going to attack us from the east. They're going to try to outflank us. They're going to be attacking us from the north. I got to go down and tell them, it's not this way. It's going to be this. Yes, says the woman. You know, it will be another bloody battlefield, another battlefield. But Aiden says, they're the enemies. We have to fight those warriors. Yes, says the puka. But you know what? You can do something which could raise the consciousness of this whole thing. What? Like what? Even though they're warriors, you can see each one of them and say, they are somebody's son. That warrior facing me is somebody's son. Yes, that's fine. His foot's up, he's down, and he's running. They're not going to be attacking us from the east, it's going to be from the north. They switch their troops. And the people who were trying to ambush get ambushed themselves. Aiden's tribe is winning the day. It's now turning into a mop-up operation, and Aiden's on a lonely part of the battlefield. He sees one warrior from the other side, a young man just like Aiden, and the guy's helmet is off, his head is bloody, and Aiden says, boy, I could just rip him to shreds and kill him right now. But then he thinks he's somebody else's son. And the battle's won. What's the point? You there, sheathe your sword and I will sheathe mine. They both sheathe swords. He looks at him and he says, look, the day is won. We've won. Go back to your bride. I don't have a bride. Go back to your father. I don't have a father. Go back to your mother then. And he goes back to his mother. And guess who his mother is? The queen of that eastern tribe. The queen of the eastern tribe is she's so glad that her son was spared and so grateful that she gets the idea to try to work for peace between the two tribes. And it takes a while. But eventually it takes. And these two tribes learn to work together, to be in peace, and they thrive and prosper together. Aiden, hothead, they now think, wow, he saw it. He should be a chieftain. And Aiden becomes a chieftain. In Celtic legend, Aiden is sort of the King Solomon, as it were. Grows up to be the King Solomon of this region. And it all started in a thin place. It all started in a thin place. So let me tell you a Christian era story about a thin place, and this is about St. Patrick himself. Patrick, as you remember, was a missionary to the Irish. He comes over to Ireland. Now, let's face it, a lot of missionaries look at the local population as, savage or barely subhuman. Their culture is, for the birds, we got to wipe it out and all that. That was not Patrick. Patrick, yes, if the local population is doing killing the firstborn son as ritual sacrificers, that we got to stop. But maybe there are a lot of things which this local population is doing, maybe a lot of their traditions which we can learn from. And St. Patrick starts to learn about thin places. He starts to learn about thin places. And then, as legend has it, Ireland is invaded. Is it by snakes? Is it by serpents? And Patrick says, I want to do something about that. Maybe if I go to a thin place, I can learn how to counteract this. Where is one of your most powerful thin places? And they say it's well on the western shores of Ireland, which is now County Mayo. County Mayo is still rather rural, even to this day. So Patrick goes to County Mayo to go into this thin place. Now, let me interject here a snake story which happened to us when we were in Northern Virginia. We had a second home, a cabin by a stream. And so the call to ministry came. I was accepted at the seminary. We pack up. And as we're packing up, we see this huge snake crawling up up the curtain in the kitchen. Oh my God. We quickly called we had our neighbor was Kathy, a mountain woman. She comes down with a bucket and an axe. She says, "Get out, I'll take care of it." Whammo, bammo. She said, that was a mountain rattler. You're going to have to call animal control and see, So we called animal control. He came over and he went under the crawl space of the house and he found another, it was non-poisonous. He comes up, he looks it up as us, he sees we're packed. He says, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, we're going to seminary. I'm going to become a minister." He looked at me and said, "Well, I was a minister, but I got to tell you, looking for snakes is a much better job." Now, I told this story. Our neighbor was, one of our neighbors was an elderly gentleman, Virginia Southern Baptist, and I told him this story, and he turned to me, he says, "Oh, Rick, when you become a minister, you're not going to have to look for snakes. They're going to come a-looking for you." So anyway, St. Patrick's is in County Mayo, or what became County Mayo, and legend has it, did he encounter Jesus, the Christ? Some say the Holy Spirit. But whatever it was, it gave him the knowledge of what was needed to be done to get rid of the snakes or the serpents or whatever they were in Ireland. He went back, and as they say, the rest is history, or at least mythological history. So I ask you, when was the last time that you were in a thin place? When was the last time that you experienced a thin place? I know some of you probably often, some infrequent, some maybe you've never had that experience. Again, in the Bible, it's not called it's not called a thin place, but, a lot of times we think of these thin places as being like Hallmark greeting cards. In the case of Job, that thin place was not a Hallmark greeting card. But Job says, he looks at God and he says, before I experienced this, I read about you. I heard about you. Now I know about you. I've experienced you. I really have experienced you. Now, in many cases, our society, our culture builds up thick walls. It builds up these thick walls. But you know what? Let's not just blame society, because a lot of times it's our consciousness producing these thick borders and these thick walls and cannot see that interlock. There's the old saying, and again, family hour, so I'm going to use General Schwarzkopf's language, bovine scatology happens, remember? Well, we can, and Ken Daigle's going to be talking a lot about this, shifting our consciousness. And I would say shift happens. Shift happens. We can't force it. You can't say 3:15 p.m. today, I'm going to be in a thin place. It doesn't work that way. But there are things that we can do which can increase the possibility of us experiencing those thin places. And some of the suggestions I think very wise people have made is, one of them is slow noticing nature. Slow noticing nature. Unhurried walks. Tree-lined streets. Parks. Riversides. Even a single tree. We are so fortunate to have a large tree in our backyard. I can truly sense that seeing it through a single tree. There is a radio show, it's also a podcast, which I'm sure many of you know, called Hearts of Space. They don't like the term, they rather use the term, not New Age music, they rather call themselves ambient music or stuff like that. But their tagline is, we have slow music for fast times. Slow music for fast times. When something, again, you can't force it, but you can increase the possibility. When something arrests your attention, a bird call, a branch against the sky, the mountains as it was in Virginia turning blue, prayer at daily thresholds, the mark of liminal times when things are changing. We can create tiny rituals at physical thresholds and also at time thresholds. We can practice silence and wonder. Small islands of when we turn off our screens, when we take the earbuds out of our ears. We can also increase the possibility of really noticing when we encounter beauty or surprise. Another is turning ordinary places into thin places. I so remember when, with young kids, reading books about going to the airport. I mean, the airport being, when was the last time the airport was a magical place to you? But to turn and to be able to see it almost as a 5-year-old would see, with that, again, unless ye are little children, turning ordinary places into thin places. Maybe it's putting a candle on the table before gobbling down food. It can be done through pilgrimages, both large and small. In terms of large, and I don't mean to put him on a pedestal, our acting president, Daniel Thomas, is going to be going on one. He's going to be going on the Way of St. James, which very famous, which goes through Spain and then through Portugal. They're going to be hooking up in Portugal. But it also can be done pilgrimages small, staycations. I have so enjoyed the walks down the American River or around streams which we have in Elk Grove. Thin places were so important to Jesus. Jesus so often said to disciples, you get on the boat, go to the other side of the lake, and I'll join you tomorrow. And he went off into essentially what was a thin place. Lao Tzu, similar stories of getting out of the city and getting into those thin places. Let's face it, most of us in this modern world face very busy, full, and hectic lives. I think that because so many of us face such busy, full, and hectic lives, we truly need thin places now more than ever before. Thank you, and God bless. Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, Rev Rick. That was fabulous. Next week, Lisa Lawson will be here. She'll be our speaker for Quimby's Wild Ride, and our musical guests will be the fabulous Denise Anye, the wonderful Lori Wood, and Soul Like Connections. So it should be a great day. Newcomers, if you're watching us online, or you can go to slcworld.org, click the Connect button, and fill out the welcome card. This will let us know that you're watching, and it can also help keep you up on all the happenings at SLC, which you can see there's quite a few happenings here. For those of you here in person today, in a moment, we'll ask you to raise your hand. We'd like to give you a welcome card that you can fill out and take to the welcome table out in the courtyard, and you will receive a warm welcome and a very lovely gift. So if you're here for the first time, would you raise your hand, please? Oh, I see someone. A few people. Wonderful, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Now it's the time in our service for a love offering. You have an opportunity to help Spiritual Life Center and all we do here. You can text SLC Love to 44321, or you can go to our website and click the donate button. You can also mail in your love offering if you still write checks. And if you're online and want to spread this consciousness, click like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. We'd appreciate it. And in a moment, we'll say our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Picture me in the church on Sunday. Picture me in the car on Monday. Picture me when it all goes well. And picture me when it feels like I am there with you. I am there with you. Now and then it's forgotten. That's when your strength fails. Lift your eyes to heaven and find a way. Find a way. Picture me when you are needy. I am there with you. Now and then it's forgotten. That's when your strength fails. Lift your eyes to heaven and find a way. Walk the path that's written. Fears won't make you stray. There's a home that's waiting if you find a way, find a way. Picture me. Picture me. Picture me. Oh, picture me.
Becky McPhee.
It's always encouraged here. The Bible says that David danced so vigorously in front of the Torah that his clothes fell off. We don't encourage that, but dancing. Dear Spirit, thank you for all the prayers in our prayer box and on prayers on people's hearts. Help them to know that healing and overcoming power. Thank you for all the investments that are made into this community through time, treasure, and talent. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. Now, we're going to say that wonderful prayer for protection, but then there's a little different because of St. Patrick's Day. We're going to say, may the road rise to meet you, which is attributed to St. Patrick. I was there. He did write it. So The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well.
Please join us in singing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine